Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond 50 Skin. I have a lot to pack into today's video, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to be talking about fermented skincare, one of the new trends in 2022 skincare. We can't talk about fermented skincare without touching a little bit on the microbiome, which is a huge buzzword, and prebiotics, probiotics. So we're going to get a little bit into that, and then I'm going to talk about my barrier repair issues that I've been going through over the last 10 days, how I'm reintroducing skincare into my routine, and I'll do a little bit of makeup with you at the end. So stay tuned, we're going to get right into it. So to begin our discussion, I just want to talk a little bit about the big buzzword of 2021, the microbiome. We've talked a lot about the gut microbiome, but there also is just all this chat about the skin microbiome, what it is, how we can keep it in balance, how we should not knock it off balance because we're going to disrupt our skin barrier. So the microbiome is just made up of all the yeast, the fungus, the bacteria, all the microorganisms that are living on our skin. It is something that is kept in balance by the acid mantle. Our skin is slightly acidic, and when that gets disrupted, we have skin barrier issues, which is what I went through these last 10 days. Probiotics. What are probiotics? Probiotics are all the living microorganisms that are on the skin, and prebiotics are basically the smaller components of what feeds and keeps the probiotics, living microorganisms, alive. So that's just kind of a basic review of the terms. But how does fermented skincare play into maintaining our microbiome? Or does it? What's the research behind it? There's not a lot. Japanese and Korean skincare industry has used fermented skincare products for years. So there is a bit of intuition and just long-term history with fermented products. And now it's kind of creeping into all of the Western skincare markets. And we're going to be seeing a lot of it in 2022. So how do we decide whether a fermented skincare product is worth the price? Because they cost a lot to manufacture. They take more time to manufacture. And is it going to be healthy for our skin? What is the process of fermentation, and why is it beneficial in skincare ingredients, or is it beneficial in skincare ingredients? And why is the skin industry so excited about putting fermented products into our skincare? So let's tackle the first question. What is fermentation? Fermentation is the same thing as breaking down a compound into its basic building blocks, like grapes into wine, or lactic acid from milk, or kimchi from cabbage. So it's the same process of adding either a microbe, a yeast, or a bacteria to break down a compound, change its chemical structure into its more basic components. And by doing so, the theory is that we increase its potency, improve its shelf life, and in the case of skincare, improve the absorbency into our skin. The research is kind of scant on whether it does that, but intuitively that kind of makes sense. If you increase the potency of a product by breaking it down into its components, it's more powerful, it's more nutrient rich, it has more lactic acid, more available lactic acid, ceramides, antioxidants, hyaluronic acid, peptides, all those great things that help support and balance our microbiome. The second thing, increasing shelf life. So the idea is that it's more sustainable, and that's really feeding into our idea that we are getting into from 2021 about limiting the number of products that we're using and improving the health of our planet by creating more sustainable products. And number three, is it easier for the skin to absorb? Kind of the jury's out. Everybody's skin microbiome is different. And so did you happen to pick a product with the right fermented product that's going to improve your skin? They really don't know. And is it going to get into your skin? The idea is that it does, but there's not a lot of research out there. But there is some research on fermented ginseng versus non-fermented ginseng being able to improve blood circulation to the skin and increase the appearance of the moisture balance in our skin and enhance the appearance of our skin. The other research, and I'll link that article below along with the other one that I'm going to talk about. The other article was about regular soy milk versus fermented soy milk, improving the hyaluronic acid production in our skin. And there is a small study on that, and I'll link that down below. Theoretically, is feeding the skin the proper nutrients really going to improve our microbiome? Is it going to help our skin barrier? Is it going to make it stronger, more tolerant to the outside pollution and all the aggressors that we have in our skin? The idea is that it does, and if you look back in the history of the Japanese culture and the Korean culture, the concept of gorgeous skin comes from a lot of their products that were fermented, and they've used it for centuries. So the idea of improving the skin barrier with fermented products is really intriguing to me, because over the last week I've had a terrible issue with my skin barrier where my face just went out of control. And my skin barrier completely broke down. I had sores on the sides of my nose where my glasses typically sit. And I was told basically use nothing, because at first we didn't know what was going on with my skin barrier. Like, we didn't know if it was a product I was trying or something environmental or something hormonal. So this is big mystery. But my husband figured it out, and it happened to be this new medication that I had started had phototoxicity, and I just happened to be sensitive in that way. So I've spent the last 10 days not washing my skin. I'm going to come up really close, and can you see my skin? It's basically covered in Vaseline. It has been basically covered in Vaseline for the last 10 days. I haven't washed it. My dermatologist was like, no cleansers, no moisturizers, no skin barrier products that I'm going to talk to you about that I would typically use. Basically, my BFF for the last 10 days has been a tub of Vaseline. So that has been tricky for someone who loves skincare, but I've been really good. I haven't washed my face, and I have not applied makeup, and I haven't applied sunscreen. I've just been dodging the sun. So it's been kind of a crazy week of repairing my skin barrier, and it's so much better. It's still a little pink in the cheeks, and I still flush quite a bit. And I have a little bit, this sore is really improving. It's still a little bit red right by the bridge of my nose, but things are improving. And so I'm kind of going into the next phase of my barrier repair. And so why was my skin so out of whack? Well, mine was more of a systemic reaction to a medication, but you can have skin barrier breakdown for so many reasons. You've used too many exfoliating products. You are exposed yourself to the environment, cold weather, too hot weather, and your skin is just not strong enough. And so I was thinking that kind of tied into my theme this week about fermented products. Do I want to start toying with fermented products? And I kind of am excited to do that. Will it really help improve my skin barrier and my microbiome? Will feeding my skin really helps? So I'm really curious about that. Oh, and that leads me to a book that I've been reading called The Life of the Skin by Monty Lyman. I'll link that down below too. If you want to know more about the skin microbiome, he has a great chapter on that. And it is really just in its infancy, this whole topic of the skin microbiome and how the city of our skin and all the microbes and bacteria that live in our skin is just kind of a new territory. It's like going to the moon. So anyway, back to barrier repair. So what I'm doing in my next steps is I'm going to be incorporating the Cicaplast balm and then putting a little bit of Vaseline over it. So slowly starting to incorporate some ingredients into my skincare routine. I'm going to start with a gentle cleanse, probably this weekend. So by the time this video goes up, I will have tried the Aveeno Calm and Restore. It's super gentle formula, basically water and glycerin, and it just doesn't have a whole lot of ingredients that are irritating to the skin. And I've heard great things about it. It's fragrance-free, no essential oils. And so I picked up this trio. Is going to be my BFF for the next week until everything is healed up. I haven't been wearing makeup, and I have been wearing makeup, but just a little bit of mascara and lippy, because my eyes the skin around my eyes was actually red, inflamed, and irritated. And actually my eyes were like bloodshot all the time, dry. It was terrible. So even my eyes were affected by this. And so I'm just trying to take it really easy and slow steps. I also purchased the Skin Fix because I've heard this is a wonderful barrier repair moisturizer, and some people like it even better than peptide night cream, which is one of my holy grails. So I'm really excited to try this too. Once I get through trialing the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast balm, I'm going to trial this guy because I know this is a product that doesn't irritate my skin in a normal week. So I'm going to introduce that first. And then another thing I was thinking, my dermatologist is recommending for me to use the Vaseline all week. But for those of you that have skin barrier breakdown that might be a little bit more on the normal to oily side, I'm very, very dry skinned. I was thinking that in the past, and I had kind of forgotten about this, I've also used the squalane, the 100% squalane, plant-derived squalane oil, just a few drops of that, and patted it over my skin. I've used that, I think it was in the summertime when I had a skin barrier issue. So just really, really basic products. I also have the Dermalogica barrier repair. I haven't tried that because I'm not really fond of the way this feels. It's very dimethicone, and I don't really particularly like that texture on my skin, so I've been sticking with just the Vaseline. And now I'm going to introduce Cicaplast and a cleanser finally. But shockingly, 10 days without washing my skin. I did rinse with normal saline, so my BFFs were the Vaseline and normal saline, just a water rinse. And normal saline is really wonderful. You can grab it at the store. You can make your own by adding a little bit of salt. You can get the recipe online, like how much water to how much salt for normal saline. I think it's like 9%. But anyway, don't quote me on that. But I have made my own normal saline with boiling water in the past, just because it got expensive to purchase it. And that was when I had my ablative laser, and I was recovering from that. I'll link that video up above. But that was the way I got my skin healed. Basically Vaseline and normal saline for 2 weeks, and that's basically what I did this time. My skin barrier was just a disaster, and I'll show you some pictures. It was really messed up. So that is the end of my skin barrier talk and my fermented product talk. Are you going to try fermented products? I'm really curious to know. One fermented product that I have used regularly and didn't really realize it was the pink drink by Sunday Riley, and I used that last year as one of my morning spritzes. Loved it. It's on the pricier side, and most of the fermented skincare products are on the pricier side. There's this new skincare line, I think in the drugs called Fervor. I'll link it down below, which is a whole line of fermented skincare products, and I believe Penn Smith did a review on that whole line, so go check her video out. I'm almost not, I think it was Fervor, and it's all fermented products, like the whole line is fermented, and I'm pretty sure she got it at the drugstore. And so I'm going to be searching out some fermented products this year as the 2022 skincare trend of fermented products continues, and I will list a few down below that I'm kind of thinking about, and also in the comments add any fermented products that you have enjoyed or you're thinking about. I'd love to add them to my list of things to try, and then I'll do kind of an updated video later in the year and let you know what I thought, and if I thought it did strengthen the skin barrier or it was just a way to cut down on the number of steps and go back to kind of that minimalist skincare trend that kind of began last year. And yeah, definitely tell me about any fermented products that you love and adore and that are part of your regular skincare routine or that you're thinking about trying. And the last thing I'm going to do today is throw on just a little bit of makeup to make myself feel a little bit more human in my layer of Vaseline. So I'm going to be using the Glossier for my brows because I have a few missing brows and I like to draw just the blank spots in. Let that dry down and then do their brow gel. And like I said, I don't even think I'm going to do shadow today because like my lids are still a little red and irritated, and I'm just trying to avoid any more irritation than I already have. So Glossier brow gel. I really like this one. This one's in blonde, so it's not my favorite one because I've kind of switched over to the Benefits brow gel, the gray one. I love that one, but I'm trying to finish this up. And my brows definitely need attention. I think I'm going to do a video coming up pretty soon about my brow care. I did one last year. I'll link that above. About brow care, about how I tint, trim, and shape my brows, but they are desperate. And I was going to go have them done, and I'm just too much of a chicken. My favorite Benefit brow consultant is in California, and I don't really trust anyone else but her to do my brows. I've had such bad experiences with like waxing and pulling off all the skin, and oh my god, it's been a nightmare. I'm also going to use what I've been loving lately, the Charlotte Tilbury. This is in Pillow Talk. I think I said Freesia in my last video. It's not right. It's the Pillow Talk Shimmers. It's one of their more balmy lippies, and I like this a lot better than the mattifying Pillow Talk. I like the Pillow Talk color, is perfect for my lip color, but I don't like the lipstick because it's too drying and mattifying. But this is just moisturizing and makes me feel like I have plumpness to my lips. Oh, and last is going to be They're Real. It's a Benefit. No. Oh no, I talked about the Benefit brow gel. Sorry, the Benefits They're Real in brown. And again, I've switched to black mascara now that I've gone gray, but I have a few more brown tubes to get through. And I really like this mascara. I don't feel like I need to use a primer with it. My lashes are feeling like, maybe with the skin barrier breakdown, I lost a bunch of lashes. And it was kind of an interesting phenomena of skin barrier breakdown because it also was incorporated kind of into my eye area or my lid area, that I did lose a lot of eyelashes, I'm noticing. But I'm feeling a lot more human with a little bit of makeup on. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed our discussion today about fermented skincare, barrier repair, and how my little journey that I'm going through. If you liked today's video, please throw it a thumbs up. pass it on to your friends who might also be going through barrier repair issues. And also, if you're interested in fermented skincare products, throw me a comment down below. I'd love to hear what your opinion is and if you're finding them useful or helpful in your skincare routine, and wishing everyone a skintastic day. Bye!